Well, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but we're stockpiling Wisconsin quarterbacks, so really fired up. You know, there's 4 of us here. 2 of us don't play the position anymore, so I think that tells you something. But I'm excited to have those guys here. Any questions?
Well, what was the assessment of the offense on Sunday? And I guess inability at times to get it going.
Yeah, not good. We didn't score enough points, obviously. And there was so many things going on, and just didn't do well enough, and we weren't consistent. And I mean, the bottom line, particularly early in the game, is the converting on third downs. Our first third down of the game was a 3rd and 1, didn't convert it. The second one was 3rd and 4, then we had a 3rd and 6. So we're doing a good job of keeping it manageable. But then, you're just sitting there going 3 and out all day, and obviously that's what led to what happened.
What changed in overtime? You guys had 2 really nice drives in overtime. Was there something different, or just kind of got it going?
Well, I think obviously there was. I mean, not saying there wasn't the whole game, but there's a sense of urgency. All of a sudden, you know what you need, and I really think that we executed really well in the overtime. The first overtime, we didn't have a 3rd down until the very last one, right before the field goal. So obviously, we didn't have to convert on 3rd down. The second drive, there was 2, so those are 2 huge 3rd downs that we converted. And considering, I think, was a 3 that we converted the whole day. So, those were really huge plays. But I think we just really came together. We executed well. We protected well. We were able to hit a few runs as well, and those runs helped. That helped us get going.
You talked last week, Darrell, about how you just can't call running plays if you're going to be a 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 9.
Yeah.
But then how do you get the running game going without calling them? At what point do you just call them to try to get it to work, and then you back off? What's that line there?
Well, that's the challenge. Regardless of how it goes, if we're going 3 and out, it doesn't matter. If it's 2 runs, 2 passes, a pass and a run, you really can't get any place. So I think it was like 20 or 12 or somewhere in there before halftime, and we're sitting at halftime. And we don't even know enough information of how the game's going because we weren't able to keep drives going. So. We want to run the ball more. We want to do things. We want to do things better, but we didn't have the play numbers in the first half or really during the game to even give us enough information. I think we were running the ball okay. I felt good about the runs. There was, I don't think there was, other than the first short yardage play that we went backwards on. I'm not sure there was any minus yardage runs, but sometimes you just have to call them.
Pete was talking today about how quickly Drew Brees gets rid of the ball, and I know you guys have talked about Russell gotten better. Is this like a league-wide trend, and why is it more important for more offenses to kind of go in that direction?
Well, I don't know about the league. I'm not worried about the league, but I know what we're trying to do, and obviously we have made a shift a little bit to get the ball out. I think Russell's done a nice job with it, and it's kind of been necessitated by some of our personnel and the things that we're going through, with some of the offensive line and issues that we have there. Brad goes down, some of those type of things. We're really trying to help out that situation and help with protection. I think it's helped. Obviously, our numbers are down in the sacks, the big number that was up last year. So we're doing some good things, but there's always give and take, and we have to. I think we're not doing as well as with our explosions that we've done in the past, and that's taken a hit because of some of those things.
What compensations do you have to make as a play caller if you have a college basketball player as your left tackle this week?
Well, regardless of who's in the game, we're assessing the personnel that we have. It's similar to the same question last week where Russell Wilson not at full speed. What do you do with that? And so all the information that we're taking in and all the things that we learn out here on the practice field, we're using all that. And so that's just another piece. Now if George Fant ends up being the starting left tackle, then we'll take that into consideration. We know his strengths, we know his weaknesses, and we'll use that accordingly, and we'll combat it accordingly as well.
Did the 3rd down to Jimmy in the end zone in the overtime, look at maybe the ball went one place and Jimmy went another, but what happened on that play?
It was just incomplete. Yeah, we just didn't sync up on that one.
What's the biggest difference?
There was no misread on the route, we just didn't sync up on it.
What's the biggest difference between where Jimmy is now as opposed to like maybe a year ago when he was coming in kind of still trying to find his place?
Well, I mean, he has a full understanding of what we're doing, obviously, and I think he has the full confidence of the quarterback as well. And with those two things and all the work that they put in the off season, I think it's showing on the field with with how they feel about each other and where Jimmy's at with our offense.
You mentioned the explosive plays. Is Tyler Lockett getting close to kind of getting to 100%? Is he moving in the right direction there?
Yeah, I think he's getting closer. Each and every day that he's able to make it through practice and continue to heal and get rehab in the training room. I think he gets better.
How was your assessment of CJ Pro size?
It was there was just minimal information. I mean, we like what we see, and we'd like to have him continually be a bigger part of what we're trying to do.
You brought Will Tuguafu back today. Have you felt like you've been lacking something with not having that piece in the offense the last couple of weeks, or what is it about Tuguafu that fits what you want?
Well, he knows our offense, and he has that toughness, that mentality, that the kind of the grind them out mentality. A fullback kind of gives you another dimension. It's different than putting Luke back there, or putting Brandon Williams back there. Obviously, Luke went down, so that enabled us to be able to pick up the fullback as well. So, but I just think that physical part of the puzzle that we didn't feel like we had.
A season and a half in, how's Jimmy Graham been compared to what you expected when you traded for him?
I think he's been great. I think he was underestimated a little bit in his ability to block. I don't think anybody wants him to block, but that's a part of who we are, and he's done fantastic. I mean, you can go back to the goal line play a couple weeks ago, and where he's burying the guy in the end zone, and he had a couple nice blocks on the, particularly in the overtime when he came around the corner and Patrick Peterson on one, and then got two guys on the second one. So he's underrated there, but he was, like we said earlier, he's very willing, and he wants to do that. But then in the passing game, what we expected, and we're happy that we're getting him going and being able to get him part of the offense.
Was Arizona playing you any differently than in the past? That kind of threw a wrench into your guys' offenses last
No, not really, Curtis. I wouldn't say that. Everything that we prepared for were things that we've seen, that we had seen, and things that we had seen on tape. It was a heck of a ball game. I mean, both sides. I mean, you got to give our defense credit for what they did. You got to give our offense credit for the resiliency that they had, and they didn't just put their heads down. They had to work, and came up with the two big drives at the end to really help us. But obviously, we got to do a much better job, and we got to stay on the field, and we got to help them out because they played a lot of plays.
On that first third and short, were you okay with Russell's decision to keep the ball, or is that one where he should hand it off?
Well, we didn't get it, so no, I'm not.
What stands out to you at the test ahead with the Saints?
Well, I think the first thing, I've been there, played the NFC Championship game there, and it's a loud place, and that's something that we're going to have to manage. The defense gives you a whole bunch of different looks. They play a lot of different personnels, and with that, and with the crowd noise and all the things that can go on, it can make things feel like there's a lot of chaos, and so we have to stay calm. We have to keep our poise. We have to handle the crowd noise and handle the looks from the defense.
It's been almost 3 full games that you didn't have a touchdown. I have to tell you that. But are you at a loss for that, or you kind of think you have a handle on what to fix? It's just a matter of doing it.
Well, I think we have a handle on it, absolutely. But I mean, it's something that we got to do. I mean, we can't just sit here and talk about it. I can tell you what we're thinking, but we've got to get it done, and the proof's out there on the field. We got to get it done out there.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.